Hello there everyone, and welcome to what I presume may be the final video in my how Uchu Sentai Kyuranger could get adapted into Power Rangers, like hopefully for the 30th anniversary. It has to be a series that cannot be left unadapted. It has to be what we get next after the yet-to-be-announced Usoger adaptation. Right now, there have been some fans that have been saying that the Usoger adaptation will be called Dino Knights, but at the time of the recording of this, I have not gotten any confirmation about that, and I don't know how much longer it'll be before we do get an official name for the Ryusoger adaptation. Although, first off, I'm going to point out I'm not looking forward to the Ryusoger adaptation. I think that Toei really should have waited until, like, this year before doing another dinosaur themed season, you know, so that would give Hasbro just the option. Well, actually, they'd have multiple options still between adapting Kyuranger and something else, but I am betting that if we had gotten Kyuranger last year and Ryusoger this year instead of the other way around like we are getting, I would probably say that Kyuranger probably would be at the top of the list for what could be adapted next. Which is why I'm hoping that Toei does not do another more appealing Sentai series for 2021, so that Hasbro doesn't just go and adapt that instead of adapting Kyuranger like they should have done already. But anyway, this is basically going to be my thoughts or ideas about how Kyuranger could be adapted, or how the adaptation of the finale could go. Right now, we haven't gotten any confirmation if the Ryusoger adaptation is just going to be a single season, or if they're going to do 2 seasons again. Right now, the contract for Nickelodeon still is going to be all the way up to 2021, so that would probably mean just one more year with Nickelodeon, and it's not certain if they're going to extend the contract by another year, or if Usoger is just going to be a short season with 22 episodes long, or if they will have a second season air on whatever network they air Power Rangers on after the Usoger adaptation. Although, kind of uncertain if they're just going to continue on with a series they've already started on one network and then go on to the next one. Although, they probably could just air that same season on the new network before bringing in the second season, just in case there are some viewers who haven't watched Nickelodeon, so they can get a good idea of how the series is. But right now, we don't have any confirmation about whether we're going to extend the contract by another year or not. But anyway, with that out of the way, my ideas for how the finale for the Kyuranger adaptation could go. What I do remember is that Tsurugi had his friend, who is a crow, who apparently was possessed by dark matter at some point in time. I'm not entirely sure how they're going to portray that. Like, maybe that crow character is going to be a full-on villain rather than just a character that was just possessed to be evil. I'm not sure how they're going to portray that. Like, maybe the Crimson Ranger is going to have a rivalry with this character, not really an old friend of his. Just not certain about what they could do with that. But, you know, I'm just coming up with ideas of what they could do rather than what they will do. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this already, but I am thinking that they could maybe bring in a US exclusive villain for the Kyuranger adaptation, although considering the amount of Rangers Kyuranger has, and Hasbro getting around to adapting it, they probably want to just save on money and not have a new villain character. Probably just use whatever the Sentai had to offer, and maybe also they could probably even use villains from Sentais that weren't adapted, one person, who I'm not going to mention the name of, did say something about using the Show, Rumpo, and Champ, and Balance costumes for the Ryusoger adaptation. And for starters, I am praying against Hasbro doing a thing like that. I would rather them save those costumes for the Kyuranger adaptation, which should happen, though. Please don't go like, oh, they're not going to adapt it. They could adapt it, and they should. And so we just gotta hope that it will get adapted. And for anyone who doesn't want Kyuranger to get adapted, well, if it does end up getting adapted, that's too bad for you. If you didn't want it to get adapted, just don't watch that series. I mean, if you don't want a Sentai series to get adapted, and then it does, nobody says you have to watch it, though. Which I suppose is the same thing some people could say to me about Ryusoger, just not watch it if it was a series that I didn't want adapted. Although, I actually did not want to have it be adapted before Kyuranger. I never said I didn't want it to be adapted. I just said I didn't want it adapted before Kyuranger. But of course, it's going to be, despite my prayers. But as I've said, I'm going to be holding off on watching Ryusoger until after the Kyuranger adaptation finally happens. But anyway, enough on that. The main villain, like if they just use the same main villain as for Kyuranger, not quite sure how the final battle could go. They'll probably use US exclusive footage for this final battle, like maybe a US exclusive Zord battle. In fact, I think that would actually work out, you know, like much better than what Kyuranger had portrayed. Because I think that the way the final boss of Kyuranger was defeated was kind of weak. So I'm hoping that the Kyuranger adaptation will have a improved final battle. Like, one idea would be maybe the final villain manages to grow giant, although I think he did in Kyuranger, but Kyutamazine faced off against him. But I'm thinking that the adaptation should actually have it be the main villain grows giant, then the Kyurangers start small with battling with their individual Voyagers, or Zords as they'll be called then. Then they'll form the Megazords, you know, like they'll form the Astroforce Megazord, whatever the series is going to be called, and the Dragon Megazord, and, you know, and then any of the other individual Voyagers just attack individually. And then as the battle goes on, they then form the Ultrazord, which I assume is what Kyutamazine is going to be called, the Ultrazord of that series. And then as for what could happen at the end, you know, like when everything is done with, like what the Rangers could do after the final boss is defeated, well, I guess one of the obvious things is that they could just go back to their normal lives. As for the non-humanoid Rangers, I suppose they could probably either stay on Earth or go back to their home planets if they still exist, or something like that. The finale of Kyuranger actually had a 2-year time skip for the epilogue, and in the epilogue, the Orange Ranger had taken over as commander when Purple had retired. And there's the scene where there's this reunion between all of the Kyurangers at the end. You know, just having a party. I'm not sure if they could do something like that. Although, from what I've seen in Power Rangers, they've never really did any time skip epilogues of a series. I mean, I know that they've done some futuristic scenes, such as in Zeo, how they did a scene where Tommy and Kat are married in the future and they have a kid. But, you know, doing that as the finale, like getting to the end of a Power Rangers season and then having a time skip epilogue. I have personally never seen that happen. Although I don't know if it has happened, I just have never seen it happen at any point. But, you know, that is just me. So, anyway, that's pretty much what I have to say about the adaptation ideas, about how Kyuranger could be adapted. And let's continue to hope and pray, and to write if we haven't written already. In fact, if you haven't written to Hasbro about adapting Kyuranger, I really would advise you to do that. Every little bit helps. And let's hope that this adaptation happens, because I'm not sure what I'm going to do if Season 30 is announced and it's not Kyuranger. I don't know what I'm going to do about that, because Kyuranger is a must-adapt series. And Hasbro cannot ignore it forever, especially with the huge amount of fans that keep writing to them and saying, "Why don't you adapt Kyuranger? We should have gotten this by now." So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and please help to continue supporting Kyuranger. Hopefully we can get this adaptation to happen, and I will see you in my later videos. Hey guys, I'd like to thank you all for watching through this How I Would Adapt Uchu Sentai Kyuranger into Power Rangers. Let's continue supporting Kyuranger and hope that it does get a Power Rangers adaptation. Some people say that the best option is for it to be the 30th anniversary season, and by this point, I think that might be the best option. Probably would be kind of odd for it to be season 29, assuming that Dino Fury as the, that Uchu Sentai Ryusoger has officially been confirmed to be called. At the time that I was recording these videos, we didn't have the name yet. But by the time that I am recording this post message, the name has been confirmed. But let's hope that Kyuranger is what gets adapted next, or at least becomes the 30th anniversary season, assuming Dino Fury is 1 season or 2. We don't know whether it will or will not be just yet. But anyway, I like to point out something that I did not do when I was recording these videos, and that is I've made my own custom wiki page on the QWEX67 wiki. I apologize if I said the name wrong, but anyway, I had come with my own wiki page on this this wiki, as QWEX67 had suggested to me, and my idea for the name of this adaptation is Power Rangers Star Saviors, and I have even come up with names for at least the first 10 Rangers. I've called the Red Ranger Eli Leon, the Orange Ranger Araco, the Blue Ranger Warlf, the Gold Ranger Zorb, the Black Ranger Bullbot, the Silver Ranger Jean, the Green Ranger Hannah Cameron, the Pink Ranger Alfette, the Yellow Ranger Jacob Sharp, and the Purple Ranger Dravon. I have not come up with names for the Aqua Ranger or the Phoenix Ranger. That's my idea for what Ho-Ho Soldier's Power Rangers counterpart could be called. I will have a link to the wiki in the description, so be sure to check that out and tell me what you think. And let's continue to support Kyuranger and pray that it does get adapted into Power Rangers, and I will see you in my later videos. Goodbye.